Hey, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back, Ed.
I'm going to get high.
Welcome back, me. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Oh, how you doing? How you doing? Anyways, yes, it's back here to the old Midas Letter.
Last week of February. Last week of February.
Last week of February. Last days of February.
You know what's next week?
The Ides of March.
PDAC.
PDAC?
PDAC.
PDAC. That's the mining show, right? They used to have mining in Canada. Do they still have mining in Canada?
Mining your own business.
Mining your own business. Yeah, well, PDAC, interestingly.
That's where you cut your teeth, wasn't it?
The largest. I never cut my teeth. My teeth are the same. Unlike Freddie
an auto
Mercury.
door.
Have you seen the movie that's won Best Actor award with Rami Malek, Bohemian Rhapsody? I want to ride my bicycle.
Jesus.
Fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round. Get on your bikes to ride.
Yeah,
Did you see that? Did you watch that? I watched it on the weekend.
But it's one. I'm into it because I love the music. I love his music.
It is phenomenal.
Always loved his music.
It's phenomenal. There's all kinds of crybabies.
Is he really from the planet Mercury? Is that why they call him Freddie Mercury?
No, obviously you didn't see the film. He called himself Freddie Mercury.
Yeah,
his name was actually Farouk Nabulsalam.
He's Middle Eastern.
He was born in
Morocco?
Zanzibar.
Which is
Zanzibar.
Close to Morocco.
He was born in the bar on Yonge Street where women take off their clothes.
Zanza.
That's amazing.
What do you say when you meet someone that you're really impressed with? You say Zanza.
I thought you said Zowie. That's actually one of our earlier shows.
Yeah, we got to bring back some of those old chestnuts.
Anyways, we got a hell of a show for you today, and it's a hell of a show because we are winging it. Our new best friend and co-host Howard Glassman is going to join us at after 3:15. At 3:15, Clint Sharples is here from Heritage Cannabis Holdings, and at 3:20 we're going to execute a little test using our brand new hot rod testing device called the FluroTech
called the cattle prod.
What's cattle prod? Brady Cobb is going to be here from Soul Global Investments at 3:45. 4 o'clock market close, our usual charts. And then at 4:10, we're going to talk to Will Randall, who's the CEO of Arena Minerals. Now, Will Randall was behind the project that sold that lithium X to the Chinese for some huge, ungodly amount. And so, theoretically, he's back to do it again.
That's a lithium project.
Lithium. Are you thundering? Did you know that lithium, people used to get high on lithium all the time before there was the other drug that you could get high on?
Helium. You're thinking of helium.
No, lithium. Lithium, what's prescribed by
lithium
doctors.
is the lightest element that can hold a charge. That's my chemistry lesson for the day.
Wow.
How about them apples?
Boy, you got me confused.
All right.
I don't even know if that's right or bullshit or whether you're actually
Sounds good, though.
Holy shit. I'm going to call the Nobel Prize Committee here in a minute now.
Send me to Nobel.
No.
Sweden. Send me to Sweden.
I'm going to ring your Nobel. Hey, Ed, how was your trip?
You know what? I'll tell you one thing.
Okay, I've heard enough.
Okay.
Now here's Ricky Gerwitz with the news.
Thanks, James, and here are the headlines moving markets today. CannTrust Holdings began trading on the New York Stock Exchange. The company's shares are trading on the NYSE under the ticker symbol CTST. And the new CFO of CannTrust, Greg Guyett, will be a guest on Midas Letter tomorrow. Heritage Cannabis Holdings Corp announced the addition of BrightLife Sciences Ltd, a newly formed, wholly owned subsidiary dedicated to furthering the company's footprint in the medical cannabis market. This new subsidiary will look to introduce various medical-related proprietary branded products and partnerships with other recognized industry leaders. Aurora Cannabis Inc. announced that both its Aurora Sky and MedRelief Bradford facilities are now fully licensed by Health Canada for the production and sale of cannabis and cannabis derivative products. And WeedMD announced that the Saskatchewan Liquor and Gaming Authority has authorized the company to supply cannabis directly to the province's retail and wholesale markets. Sol Global Investments Corp announced the formation of a new international hemp-focused subsidiary, Heavenly RX Ltd. Heavenly RX intends to hold controlling ownership interests in various assets in the hemp, CBD, and THC-free cannabinoid wellness space. Its initial focus is on hemp cultivation, processing, and the manufacturing of a diverse range of traditional CBD products. And the CEO of Sol Global Investments will be a guest on Midas Letter coming up. Cresco Labs announced the formation of a new wellness subsidiary, Well-Beings. The company will allow Cresco Labs to expand its house of branded products to all 50 states to reach a new customer base outside of the licensed dispensary channel. Well-Beings will offer a full line of high-quality hemp-based CBD wellness products eligible for national distribution. 1933 Industries Inc. announced that it has engaged professional athlete and mixed martial arts fighter Sarah Moras as a Canna Hemp-sponsored athlete for a 6-month engagement. The UFC fighter will promote the company's action sports division and represent the Canna HempX brand. BLOCKStrain Technology Corp announced that its shares have received depository trust company eligibility. This is expected to simplify the process of trading and enhance liquidity of the company's common shares in the United States. DTC eligibility enables shares of BLOCKStrain to be distributed, settled, and serviced through DTC's automated processes. Cannex Capital Holdings Inc. has signed a binding letter agreement to acquire 100% of San Diego, California-based Pure Ratios Holdings Inc. in a cash and stock transaction. Pure Ratios was founded in 2015 with a focus on holistic wellness-oriented products in the California medical marijuana market. Pure Ratios hemp-derived CBD products are sold and distributed through a network of holistic and naturopathic medicine practitioners. Canopy Growth Corporation has named Hillary Black as its Chief Advocacy Officer effective immediately. In her expanded role, Hillary's mandate includes driving patient advocacy efforts worldwide, executing the company's global corporate social responsibility strategy, and leading the implementation of best practices for diversity and inclusion. A question traders will be asking this week is whether gold can continue its recent bullish run. A number of factors driving the precious metal higher recently include global macroeconomic risks and a dovish Fed. However, global equities are recovering, which is generally seen as a negative for gold. Sentiment stemming from the March 1st extension of the deadline for the U.S.-China trade talks should also affect this week's market action. And that's your news for today.
We're back.
That's so much news. I've never seen so much news in my
turn
life.
around.
And like, what's with all the news? Why is there so much news? It's like it's a news day.
Everything's news.
It's a big news day, Edward.
Big news.
Big news in town.
You know what's worse than a big news? A big noose.
A big news.
Because if you got a big noose going around your neck, you got problems.
Or
buddy.
a big snooze. If this show is a big snooze, that's it. We'll be out of business.
You know what?
Hey, you know what, Ed? I went to the YouTube space in Toronto here last Thursday night, and because we're going to start to do some stuff out of the YouTube spaces, but there's guys with 1.4 million subscribers, there's people with 200,000, 300,000. At the end of the thing, I introduced myself to the guy who's the head of the guy giving the presentation at the YouTube space. He says, "Oh, no, I know who you are. I watch your show all the time." Out of all these people, he watches our show all the time. I was quite impressed with that. Anyways, I'm going to...
No, I think there's a few more people watching it than I'd like to...
Yeah, well, get this. So I'm going down to Los Angeles next week, and we're going to start doing shows out of the Los Angeles YouTube space, the New York YouTube space, Mumbai, Berlin, London, Dubai,
Do we have to be there to do
Rio
it?
de Janeiro.
Do we have to be there to do it?
Do we have to be there to do it? Yeah, we have to be there to do it.
We can't do it from here and pretend it's Mumbai.
No, we're going there.
Mumbai. Used to be Bombay.
Used to be Constantinople. Now they call it Istanbul. Anyways.
Istanbul?
So you were saying there was other big news today that we haven't even covered here.
Well, there's big news. I guess the biggest, there's a mining company that wants to take over. You know, there was that potential merger between Barrick and Gold Corp.
Gold Corp, Newmont.
Gold Corp, Newmont. Oh, Barrick wants to take Gold Corp, Newmont. Just testing.
You're trying to,
I went away.
That's funny though. There's been no offer made. All there has been is a statement in the press by John Thornton saying, "Yeah, no, we're looking at merging with Newmont."
Well, they got a letter. They got a letter today.
Oh, did they?
Now there's another. Yeah, and I don't. Unfortunately, I don't really listen. But the new fellow from South Africa, from Randgold, that merged with, he now wants to take over Barrick, I guess it is, or Gold Corp, one or the other. And they had McEwen on, and McEwen. Anyway, it's a very convoluted process.
Yeah.
Let's just say this.
Have you looked at the share price performance of either Newmont, Gold Corp, or
Barrick
in the 10-year time frame, starting from now?
Probably done nothing, right?
they're kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Now here's the problem, and I'm not going to belabor the point.
Sure.
Big gold companies have a hard time delivering shareholder value. It's like a proxy for owning gold, nothing more, nothing less, with some potential for upside. But the problem with a big mining company is it can only grow through acquisition. And the price of acquisition is always related to the price of gold. So they're basically, the only time that it really works is if they were to acquire a whole ton of assets at a low gold price and then wait to mine them until the price is higher. They never do that. They take over an asset, they got to keep mining it. So if you look at the all-in cost cost per ounce of gold, it's always relative to the price of gold. And anyways, it's a losing proposition if you ask me. Great if you don't want to hold physical gold.
You know what? The more, and I've been doing this, and we've talked about this. I've been in Crown, which is a copper play, and copper's starting to get.
I'm in that deal too.
I know, and you know what? It was 8 cents
Copper
bid.
broke out last week.
It was 8 cents bid. Now it's 12 and a half bid. So
Copper's 12 cents bid.
no, Crown. if Crown didn't start moving, I was going to drop the R and put in an L and call it clown.
You know
mining.
what I want to do?
Clown mining.
I'm going to pull up some charts here, Edward.
Clown mining.
I'm going to let you clown mining. That's the.
Sometimes you gotta. Why didn't you wait for me to tell the joke?
Oh, sorry.
Because some of them are pretty funny,
I
apparently.
haven't seen you in so long. I got to steal your thunder right away. I can't even help myself.
Good.
Charts tick by tick. Charts advanced. Oh, this is an advanced chart. So tell you what we'll do. Is
What do you want to see?
I want to pull up a chart of Barrick to start.
Okay, Barrick, ABX.
Yeah, ABX. Oh yeah, no, they're on mine.
What about? Do I still have my capability here?
No, your capability is over.
I want some capability.
Okay, you can't have it.
I want some capability.
Actually, we got to share the capability now.
Okay.
Float.
Jesus.
Market. Charts advanced. Here we go. Okay, so Barrick, ABX. Yes, no matter how you slice it. ABX. Here's the Barrick chart.
I see it.
And let's go out to the 10-year look. And it's funny, it doesn't look that different from the 1-year look. So it traded in 10 years within a range. It actually, if you bought it this date in 2009, March 5th, 2009, you paid $36.99. And if you sold it today, you sold it for $16.66. So you had a chance to make a little bit of money back here in 2012, but other than that, it's been a losing proposition.
It's still lower than where it was 10 years ago. It hasn't been.
Well, if you would have bought it at the end of 2015, September 2015, then you were looking at a price of $8.72 for a share, and you could have sold it at, August 2016 for $26. So there are windows of opportunity in there, but my point is that these are not legacy stocks to hand down to your offspring.
These are not Amazon.
Exactly.
This isn't Amazon.
Now
Gold only acts at the extremes of economic conditions.
Do you have to have?
No, wait a minute.
See. Okay, now let's look at Crown Mining. Clown mining. Here's the 10-year look on
Steve's going to take out a knife and cut my what off.
Cut your what off. Let's go to the 1-year look. It looks like the 10-year look. But here's the thing. Here's the most important thing. Let's go right into the 1-month look. Come on, baby. Come on.
Hey, yeah.
Okay, there's the 1-month look. Look at those Bollinger Bands narrowing. Something's going to break here, Ed. Look at those Bollinger Bands narrowing in the 1-month look. Doesn't that suggest that
look at it in 10 years. Nothing's happened.
I know. Anyways, relative strength, 55.69. What's that telling us? Oh, you know what? It's 315.
You know what it's telling us? It's telling us we got to change topic.
Coming up, I'm going to talk to Clint Sharples is here. He's the CEO of Heritage Cannabis Holdings. But first this.
Shall I...
Heritage Cannabis Holdings Corp. operates a holding company which cultivates, sells, and distributes medical cannabis in Canada. The company currently has 2 Health Canada approved licensed producers through its subsidiaries FineMed Inc. and Canacure Corp., both of which are regulated under the Cannabis Act regulations. Heritage Cannabis is focused on advancing its scale and technology footprint to compete both domestically and internationally. Heritage Cannabis Holdings Corp trades on the CSE under the ticker symbol CANN.
But I'm
Back here now with Clint Sharples, CEO of Heritage Cannabis Holdings, trading on the CSE under the symbol CANN. Clint, welcome back.
Thanks, Phil. It's great to be here.
Full disclosure, I'm a shareholder in the company and a long-term enthusiast. So tell me, Clint, the stock, I just want to point this out to you lovely people watching at home, that the stock has doubled in the last, call it 75 days or so. And what?
25 days, yeah.
25 days. What has caused the stock price to double?
Well, more people are buying than are selling.
Wow, that's genius. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, you know, a few things I would imagine are driving a... Oh, hold on. I'm being told I'm not mic'd up properly.
You're not on. So more buyers than sellers, that's always a solid argument, a solid explanation for why the stock is higher, or lower rather.
So my best joke, I'm going to do this entire interview wasn't calling on this? Great.
Go again. So what's the best joke that you've got for this interview?
No, that was it. I peaked early.
More buyers than sellers, but why are there more buyers than sellers?
You know what? Just
You
the amount of
want to hear
eyes that
something?
are starting to get on us. People are understanding. I mentioned it this weekend. You know, we've been talking a lot about what we're going to do, and now people are seeing that we're doing it. We're no longer a good story. We're now a good plan.
So,
we're a good
there
company.
was actually
A lot of people on board. We've
Very
been
crude
naming a lot of
submarine
our
invented.
top executives, new people coming on board. People are doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're executing on what they're supposed to be executing on.
Sure.
And it's amazing what happens when you start performing as a company, how many people get interested in owning you.
Right. So you're about to start producing a lot of extract.
Yeah, we hope so. We've got a few plans for beginning here in March, still waiting for our license. Our business plan's calling for it sometime by the middle of March.
Okay.
Fingers crossed it's this week. We don't know. Health Canada never lets us in on those those little secrets that they have. I wish they would, but
Right.
it's a
too
matter
bad
of...
you're not growing mushrooms. They keep you in the dark.
Great. So my best joke just got topped by you. That's great.
I don't know. That qualifies as being top, but
That's great.
So somebody's been accumulating the stock. Obviously, you've got some believers out there.
We do.
What is the near-term milestones besides obviously the beginning of oil production in March?
Well, March was sort of the kickoff of just about everything that we're planning on doing. We put out a news release this morning. Seemed to excite a few people on BrightLife Sciences, our medical division. It's been on the plans now for the better part of 6 months. If anyone saw that we released news back in, I believe it was October, bringing Dr. Chris Spooner on board. We brought him on with the understanding that we would pave the way and clear the way for him to bring forward his ideas on the commercialization of his knowledge on the cannabis industry and how it relates to medical. And that's something that's always been a key component of what we're looking at doing. We want formulations for just about everything CBD related. I shouldn't say CBD, it's CBD, CBG, CBN, a whole bunch of things that I'm learning about this business too. Natural health products, anything that could go direct to patient, anything supplied direct to patient. We're looking at partnering with people. We don't need to be the experts. We would like to partner with experts and become a real true source to go to for medical cannabis, as well as everything else we'll be doing. March obviously starts our world in extraction. We'll be starting it out in British Columbia, processing away on our own hemp. We are also looking at taking the talents of the guys that we have in our Pure Pharma group who are currently training an army of people to run these extraction machines, not just for us, but we're looking to partner. We're looking to do third-party extraction and doing services for others. Hopefully you'll be hearing more about that soon too.
You bet. How about your cannabis growth profile? How's that shaping up right now?
Well, the cannabis grow, or the grow that we're doing right now, we've done some grow in here locally at the Fort Erie facility. We've paused between our first and our second one as we're installing a bunch of extraction units, and We have a lot of people trudging in and out, so you don't want to do that while cannabis is present.
Right.
Once that's done and it's set up, which should be next week after, we are going to do another grow. We are looking at a few alternatives on exactly what we will be growing and in which rooms. First one was a success. It wasn't large. We don't have a lot of quantity. That wasn't our goal. Our goal was to kind of shake things out and prove things up, and it did. They did a great job.
Right. And you took delivery of a large quantity of hemp.
We're partners with a group out of Saskatchewan who has 1,600 acres. They have 50,000 kilograms of dried hemp sitting there in Saskatchewan. I shouldn't say 50,000. They actually have more than 50,000. They continue to add this as the Saskatchewan group is continuing to acquire from other sources. We bring in hemp from the Saskatchewan cooperative. They acquire the hemp from people within their cooperative or outside who meet the proper quality specs.
So the cooperative has 1,000 acres under cultivation of hemp?
1,600, yeah.
1,600 hectares.
That's right.
So that's
acres.
Acres.
Yes.
Okay, so that's still, is that the largest hemp growing collective in Canada?
I don't actually know. I don't think so, but
I don't know of anything bigger than 500 acres at this point. But that's collectively over a couple of properties.
That's right. Yeah, it's a group within Saskatchewan. Actually, we're planned out a little bit over 3,000 acres for next year. So it's, or I should say for this year in 2019, they'll be planting over 3,000 acres. Plus, looking at the people we're looking at partnering with right now and bringing hemp in right now. From other sources, they'll be joining our group. So, yeah, we're looking for a significant part of this for our own. That's our own oil supply, let alone the stuff that we can do for other LPs.
Interesting. So with the economics of extraction, if you're concentrating on CBDs from hemp, does the hemp have a lower ratio of lower content of CBD relative to other strains, or is all hemp CBD rich?
No, there's a very wide range in hemp. So Health Canada has only approved certain strains for grow in Canada. They are looking at expanding that range to allow for a more API, more active product ingredient, rich product. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
The higher the API up to a certain point, it's obviously more efficient for us to process.
So the higher the cannabinoid content, the lower cost per input of output, correct?
It should be, until you hit an inflection point, and then it becomes a problem. It starts gumming the machine up because it's too much. So there's a happy area in there. I won't even begin to talk about that. I'm not that kind of expert, but we employ them.
Sure.
So these guys are always targeting a particular range, and that's what they're looking at for what they would like to see.
Yeah, interesting. The CBD product sort of craze that has engulfed the planet now, because CBDs are obviously a lot easier to approve, both for medical and recreational reasons, or call it therapeutic non-medical reasons, because there's low psychotropic activity. People say none, but I happen to know that's not quite true. It's just very low and doesn't affect your overall awareness on a day-to-day basis. Is that craze enough to carry all of the cannabis companies that are rushing into the space into the next wave of the industry's growth? Like, my question is there room enough for all of these companies who are rushing to put out CBD only at this point?
So, two things. Number one, yes. The second thing, psychotropic. You just said that and it flowed off your tongue. I'm extremely impressed.
Well, that's because I'm a psychotropic guy.
That's amazing.
It's from deep and vast experience in that realm.
Just stuck in my head. There's no way I could have said that quickly and continued on. So yeah, the demand is unbelievable right now. We're being asked every day for CBD oil. There's nowhere near enough hitting the markets. A lot of it depends on where the market's going and who's the market going to be allowed to affect. But right now, the amount of CBD-based products, or the amount of other products that CBD is being talked about being added into, right now, Like there's talk out there that there's just is not going to be capacity in Canada to be able to supply all of this. A lot of it depends on where it goes. For an example, our facility down in Fort Erie is a large one, 122,000 square feet. We have 24,000 built out. We have another 30,000 square feet that's being dedicated to our new extraction, dedicated extraction facility, which is going to be a very large extraction facility, which leaves us about 65,000 square feet to do other things when you're talking about the edibles, the infusions, or just about any other product that's part of that. And we're getting people coming out of the woodwork talking about wanting to partner with us as part of this phase 3. Enough so we've had to call a timeout. We've got criteria set up that we're evaluating with whom we're going to partner, and that's going to be, and it won't be just one, it'll be several, likely between 5 and 10, and have several different products coming in, and most, if not all of them, are pretty focused on the CBD-based the aspect. Few, obviously, on THC for the recreational products that they can have, and we're happy to abide by that too, but it's difficult to find product to extract right now.
Great, Clint. Well, that's an awesome update. We're going to come back to you, of course, very soon. Congratulations on the progress. Thanks for joining me today.
Well, we're hoping for a good next couple of weeks, so keep an eye on it.
You bet. I wanted to test the new FluroTech machine, and so I placed an order on the Ontario Cannabis Store, and I wanted to know how much THC is in my cannabis. Let's figure it out. Hi, Suzanne.
Whoa, James, what do you have there?
I just got my order from the Ontario Cannabis Store. I got Cove Relief, it's a hybrid. I got DNA Genetics Lemon Skunk, another hybrid. I got San Rafael Tangerine Dream. This is actually from MedRelief, which is now part of Aurora. I've got WeedMD's San Fernando Valley. And I've got Aurora's Ghost Train Haze Pure Sativa.
Quite a selection. Now, what do you plan on doing with all this?
Well, I plan to smoke it all and get high as fuck, but the problem is that I'm not entirely sure that I am comfortable with the label's representations of the THC content. None of these have any significant CBD content. And I heard that you had a new machine that could test for both CBD and THC down to the billionth part per million.
I do. This is FluroTech's new CompleteTest, and it allows us to test for CBDA and THCA.
No kidding.
Yeah, so you want to give it a whirl?
I want to see how you do this.
All right. What would you like to test first?
Well, tell you what, why don't we get straight to it with, let's go with Aurora's Ghost Train Haze Sativa, because this is the one I'd most likely want to smoke first.
All right.
And that has a beautiful, it's got a nice candy aroma, a little sweetness and almost strawberry-ish, but
all right.
I don't know why they call it Ghost Train. So how do you test it?
We're going to test for THC content, and so I'm going to need you to actually measure about what would be 100 micrograms.
100 micrograms?
Yeah. You're going to want to get a homogeneous content to it, and so...
Shall I use this scale?
Yep.
Sweet. Let's see.
But first, actually, you want to mix it up here in your Moore and pestle.
Oh,
and then put it...
I see.
Yeah.
So you want what about is going to be 100 micrograms.
Yeah.
Well, let's say that I don't want to use any of the big, beautiful buds, but I happen to know that in samples, generally, actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to not include the stalky bits, because this is quite dry. So I'm going to eliminate the stalky bits, because that's not something we would smoke anyways. We would cut that out, except for the losers who use grinders. Oh, wait. I'm a loser who uses a grinder. But connoisseurs always separate the good from the bad using their fingertips.
People also use scissors to cut it up and grind it,
See,
right?
Scissors, the problem with scissors and grinders is that you end up incorporating the stalk that the flower is bound to, and that is just
Now we're going to grind
Not
it
only
up.
does that have a much lower THC value, but it ruins the flavor ultimately of the smoke. So that's why connoisseurs always use their fingertips to separate the little bits of stalk, and not grinders and not scissors. Now scissors you often can use to trim away a lot of the leaf that might be left on from an incomplete harvest.
All right, so this test is very finicky and very particular. You have to make sure you get every little bit out. Scrape it up. And with the scale and the little tube there, you're gonna wanna scrape it in and measure out somewhere between 95 to 105 grams, or micrograms, I should say.
95 to 105 micrograms. First I have to put this on and tear it.
That, yep, and it was
There we
calibrated earlier. Okay, let's see if you can do 100. Do you have the eye?
Well, I did this
Precision?
once. Let's say that's probably 100. Does that look about right to you?
It's a very small
Oh.
amount. Ooh.
Not even close.
We got 62.
$90.
Okay, getting closer. Yeah. Oh,
Look at that, 101.
Okay, so we want to enter that value in here because this is actually, the computer is going to kind of run the test for you. Okay, and then from there you want to actually empty your extraction solution into the sample tube, which would be the green guy there. Yeah, extraction solution.
Okay. What is this extraction solution? Just a solution. We don't know. Just provided by the manufacturer as the solution that... There.
Now close it up tight. We're gonna aggregate it for 5 minutes, and this is the real fun. We're probably just gonna fast forward through this step.
Right, where is the
Shakira.
The Shakira, the shaker. The mover in the shaker.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so shake it up, and then we're gonna place
Shake
it in
it up. I don't know if I can shake it that much, Suzanne. My hand's not used to doing this. Isn't that an official laboratory shaker?
It is Shakira,
Wow.
or
So,
better known as the Vortexer.
and I put it on here,
Yeah,
right?
and make
now
sure-
this lid has to be on
Yeah.
tight, doesn't it? Because this thing, it's not called Shakira for nothing.
No, and turn it to 3,000.
3,000, it's a maximum.
As high as it goes, and let it rip.
Whoa. Wow, Suzanne, that's pretty shook up. Oh, I'm all shook up, I'm in love, yeah, yeah.
All right, so now from here, we're gonna kind of coffee press it down.
Okay, that's a little French press.
Yeah,
Hmm,
it's kind of tight.
tight.
Okay. Not used to this.
You need the brute force of the blessed paw.
Okay, go for it. Push it down because we want to just remove the solution, and that's what we're gonna test.
There we go.
Oh,
I can just force this down.
yeah, all the way.
And it's basically a filter now that's gonna.
And then break it off. All right.
All right.
And then
that's
from
looking
there-
pretty green. It's not that easy being
This is
green.
a bit difficult, and what we're gonna have you do is pipette 1 pipette worth of
No.
the extract solution into this here,
Okay.
the intermediate solution. Now you have to break the surface tension, or else that's gonna create some air bubbles and will not be good for the test.
Uh-oh.
All right, that looks pretty good. And now we're gonna do it, add it in there. Just make sure you add, okay.
There. Quite the pipette, Suzanne.
And now discard it, so there's no sort of
Discard it.
cross contamination. Tube 3.
You want to shake this by hand.
Yes.
This doesn't need to go in the vortex. All right. Get back the... Okay. Then, this is what we actually test. So, tube 1 goes
What's
into
in the
this,
bottom of that?
just a little shaker, and that
Okay.
is what shakes it up and gets you the correct results. And this gets added to your complete test device. So open it up, or if you want to do the full thing, add it in there, and it's going to start rattling. See, it's shaking.
Doesn't need the lid?
Not yet, because we're not done.
Okay.
We did that, did this, and now from here you want to add 1 pipette of this solution into here.
Okay, but with a different...
Yes, so you want to discard that tip. No, this here.
Oh. There we go.
Get a new one. 1 pipette worth of this solution. Let me know when it's in there. It's a lot trickier than you would think. You didn't get anything. You might want to tip it because there isn't actually a loss of that solution in there.
There we go.
Yep. In there, tell me when you're ready. Just
Into
like-
this little
Yep.
guy? All right, it's in there.
Begin test. Now just wait for a minute.
Should we close the lid?
Easy to add a key. Just tighten it.
No, you don't.
No, not this one.
But thank you.
Yeah, nice try,
What is
Donald.
he, a scientist or something?
Exactly. Well, he won't be leaving the control room anytime soon.
Stick to your day job.
Exactly. Interloper. Okay, so now this is measuring cannabinoids, THC and CBD, down to a billion parts, or
It's
1 part per billion.
Yeah.
So this is not just close or an estimate. This is dead accurate. What's the technology behind it called? It's spectroscopy.
Oh, let's cut that out. It's called spectroscopy. I
Yes.
can't say it correctly. Spectroscopy, which uses light, right? To, I don't know.
Light excites the molecules in the sample and causing them to release a photon, and then the device measures the photonic output of the sample and determines the content of the THCA as a result of that.
Could have been a scientist in the previous life.
Believe it or not, the only 2 things I was good at was music and science.
Okay, so now here we have to add a pipette worth of our mixed intermediate solution with the extract solution into here, and that will give you...
Different pipette?
Yes. Pew. Abort! Abort!
Away she goes. Okay. Now 1 pipette?
Yeah. Now try and break the surface tension, so again, there's no air bubbles. Cool. And then just insert the tip into that liquid as well, and then, all right, now begin tests.
When we come back, we'll have the results of the test. If you're fast, I'm back. I just saw the interstitial. Hilarious.
Yeah.
We'll be back in a minute with that. Howard Glassman joins me again today, everybody. Welcome, Howard.
Thank you very much, sir. Humble and Fred Radio, humbleandfredradio.com on Twitch TV now,
Wow.
as of today.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's
Twitch
pretty cool.
TV.
Yeah, all the
What's
kids-
that all about?
Well, how are you feeling, by the way?
Twitch? I feel twitchy. No, I feel much better than I did Friday. 2 exits, no waiting. Thank you very much.
You seem fine.
Yeah, I feel good. You know, actually, and this is not that I'm saying you're right, but I had no alcohol since Thursday.
Yeah.
This is the thing. When I have no alcohol in my system for 3 or 4 days, it only ratchets up from here. This is why I think maybe I drink, is that got to take that down a little bit.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think.
Anyway,
anyway, great to be here. Thanks to everyone who was so kind to me, all the people on the production, hanging out with Fraser on Friday by ourselves. No James, no screaming. Twitch TV, for you grown-ups, is a gaming platform that has 750 million viewers. And what it is based on kids watching other kids play World of Warcraft and video games. And now what they're doing is they're getting a bunch of broadcasters like yourself and podcasters to do their own channels.
You saying that this is kids watching kids play with each other, play with themselves? Stay
with me, James. Am I okay? Am I okay looking at the camera? Anyway, today we debuted the Humble and Fred Show, twitch.tv/Humble and Fred.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Twitch.tv/Humble and Fred. I'm going to go look that up.
I have some great news for you as well. I just read before I came on, and thanks for having me.
Okay.
But
what would we be without you?
But apparently, this brutal weather we're having in the Northeast is going to be with us for another couple of weeks, and all of a sudden, in mid-March, now it's going to be really cold the next couple of weeks, unseasonably cold. Middle of March and early spring, my friend. That's my good news pitch for you today.
Can I ask?
May you ask? Yes.
How do you know?
I just read it on my computing machine.
Don't tell me it came from the internet.
I'm telling you. Also,
so I've only got 2 weeks of shit weather to go, and then
yes,
it's all.
my brother. Yes. Gentlemen,
that's very hard to believe. I find
everything about this operation incredibly hard to believe.
You know why I believe?
Charge? I think Ed's in charge.
Ed's in charge. Head is in charge when he is here.
Yes.
Special head is in charge when he is here and he is not in here. Somebody else is in charge on Friday. You are in charge.
Who has the money? Where's all the money coming from?
What are you talking about? There ain't no money.
I got a feeling that Ed's
ain't no money, bitch.
Okay, easy now. Easy now, Medea.
What are you calling your money, bitch?
All right, Medea West. I can't figure anything out about it. Yeah.
Jussie Smollett.
Yes.
One-liner.
Fake Jews. I don't know.
Fake Jews?
I have no idea.
I got to just comment on that because he pulled this stunt because he was afraid he was being written out of the show.
Is that what the reason to?
That's what
the motivation.
That's what the rumor is. That's his.
So
motivation.
he did this thing so he would be more popular or get some heat around him, so they wouldn't be able to write his character out of the show.
That's the theory.
Really?
And what happened? They wrote him out of the show.
It makes me
talk about backfire.
But you know what? I'm not surprised. This is a culture we've created.
Right.
This idea that everyone, all of us, have created this idea that everyone needs to be famous, that everyone has to use outrageous social currency. And he made he did it. He got a lot of press and social whatever it is, but it's backfired now.
Yes. How about Justin Trudeau and the whole Operation Car Wash in Canada thing?
I have no idea what that's about.
SNC-Lavalin, Canada's largest engineering procurement. SNC-Lavalin.
Lavalin.
Quebec-based large cap engineering procurement and construction firm was basically charged with multiple counts of bribery for work to get project work they had in Libya in 2013 and 2012.
Yes.
And what happens? They're getting their asses dragged into court. The Prime Minister steps in, whispers in the Justice Minister's ear and say, which turns out to be, maybe you want to go easy on SNC-Lavalin.
Because they were big supporters of the Liberal government. Yes.
Well, and they have 6,000 employees.
Right.
So Trudeau says, I'm only intervening because I'm interested in protecting the 6,000 jobs of the SNC-Lavalin.
And do you buy that?
No, because I just read their annual report. And it's like, you're going to have to do a lot more than that to protect 6,000 jobs from a company that just lost a shit ton of money.
Are you saying that's not a good buy, SNC-Lavalin?
I think SNC-Lavalin would make an excellent short because one thing here is certain. Are you familiar with Operation Car Wash in Brazil?
I just had my car wash the other day. That's about as much car wash experience I have.
The Brazilian equivalent to SNC-Lavalin in Brazil is called Odebrecht S.A. Odebrecht. Nice German name.
Yeah,
the Germans.
Yeah. Let's make it clean.
The head of Odebrecht, Marcelo. Now I'm switching. I'm losing my. Anyways, the CEO of that company got charged with bribing officials from Petrobras, their largest energy company, energy production firm, and he's doing now 19 years for bribing paying $30 million in bribes. They called that Operation Car Wash. It took down 2 governments, not one, in Brazil.
And are people saying this is what's going to happen? I've been reading a little bit about this. You're saying
this is the Canadian Operation Car Wash.
J-Dub.
This is going to be the end of the Liberal Party if they don't scrub from the top down and like eradicate this, because they're using terms like deferred prosecution and improper influence or undue influence.
Can't do that.
No, it's called coercion and crime. So let's drop those phony bullshit
And
names.
you know James is serious when he waves his finger at me.
But if I go like this, then I am really serious.
Hey, come on! Hey, Howard, why don't you come downtown and get yelled at by some guy?
Lunatic. It's a good thing nobody watches this.
It really is a good thing. Hey, I thought it was interesting that when I came in today, you guys were using that equipment to test the marijuana.
The THC content.
So the average THC in the flower is between 15 and 22, 14 and 23%. I will tell you, because we were just having this conversation, you know, some of this higher octane stuff, I was sampling some of it on the weekend. Yikes. The shatter makes me crazy.
So you were telling me that you really enjoyed it, though.
I do enjoy it.
So you like to get completely like...
Yeah, I mean, although I am going to take some of that flour home because I need a bit of a break, because I think sometimes you do too much high octane THC.
You're going to use the low octane to come down a bit.
Well, I think you lose. It's like if you only drank 40 proof rum, you would, which I did.
To come down?
No, then a 6% beer isn't going to get you drunk anymore. What am I saying?
Exactly.
Why am I talking at all? When are we going to see the results?
Well, we'll see the results in a few minutes.
Excellent.
Yes.
We're going to tease ahead to that.
Yes.
That's exciting news.
Yes. Actually, let's see. The results are on the schedule as coming up. Well, the results aren't on the schedule, but the results will be coming out shortly.
Hang on a second. One of your incredibly astute listeners, viewers, says SNC Lavalin is up over $2 today.
Yeah, you know why? So this is, now don't forget, this is a long story,
by the way,
that has been happening since 2012. And right now, in the press, it looks like the Liberal Party is going to skate by this thing.
No,
and it's going to be, it looks like it.
Come on.
That's why the stock's up $2.
You know what that is?
That is bullshit.
That is...
I knew you were going there.
Come on, man.
Sorry, I should have left that for you.
Man.
Damn.
Leave a little room.
I'm an amateur. What can I say? That's why
you're
you're
a
here.
really good amateur.
Oh, Jesus. I have a lot to learn.
He's very good. It's bullshit.
Bullshit.
It's bullshit.
We are going to expand coverage of this story. We're going to say things that the Globe and Mail refuses to say in due course. We have a couple of pieces coming up, but everybody in Canada, I just want you to know that this is an attempt by the Liberal Party to undermine the rule of law in our country, and we will not let it stand. Now, a drum roll, please, Howard. This is not a political show, by the way. No, a real drum roll.
All right.
With effusiveness.
What?
Give him the envelope.
I think you have me mistaken for some other monkey. Give me this.
Those are the monkeys that...
Did you want me to read these, or are you going to read them?
Yeah, tell me, what's the result? So we tested, Aurora's Ghost Train Haze, and the results came out, survey says.
Ghost Train Haze, by the way, I haven't had it, but I have some of the Haze family. Fantastic. And the results are 15% THC.
And the label said 15.8%.
Yeah.
Now, you know
I thought it was interesting what you said about CBD and people thinking it has no psychotropic effect. I'm sorry, what were you going to say before I cut you off?
I forget.
Here's the thing about CBD. And this is a lesson for you investors who may or may not be using cannabis. If you ever find yourself starting to get a little green out, you ever had that effect when you're like, I think I'm too high? CBD.
Have I ever had that effect?
Okay, that was a stupid question. Here's the thing. CBD, whether you can get it in a vape pen or you take it as a tincture, it'll actually even you out. Like if you feel yourself getting out of control, take a little bit of drop under your tongue and you'll feel great.
Huh.
Yeah. Huh.
You know, I have found that CBD is an incredible cure for a hangover. I'm not talking a symptom alleviator. I'm talking full-on cure.
Yeah. Well, I told you that my girlfriend uses it for various reasons. It has a great effect for women in menopause, hot flashes.
Oh, I thought to
No, you didn't.
We're not going to go down that road.
No, edibles are for that, my friend.
Edibles. I thought lubricants.
Well, that's a whole other...
MedMen was pushing this.
Was it really?
Pushing this. Have you tried cannabis lube? And I thought, what do they mean by that? Like to smoke it? Because isn't that the oil that I get from the cannabis supplier online? Like,
they make so many products now out of hemp and hemp-related stuff. All I'm going to tell you is the CBD is really something else.
and I can tell you that anything slippery that you rub on your ears makes your ears slippery, whether it's got cannabis in it or not.
Exactly.
If it's got CBD in it, you're going to be
Those are wise words from a man
mildly
your
psychotropic.
of your stature. Right there.
Anyways, now it's funny because I was just talking to God, and God just told me that I should read what's on the prompter or something.
Right.
I wasn't actually listening.
All right.
But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn up my God piece.
As opposed to your cod piece.
All right. Next, coming up, we have the CEO of Sol Global Resources.
Sol Global Investments Corp is an international investment company with a focus on cannabis and cannabis-related companies in legal U.S. states. The company is also focused on the hemp and CBD marketplaces and the emerging European cannabis and hemp marketplaces, with investments and partnerships across cultivation, distribution, and retail. Sol Global has a research and development program with the University of Miami, which is focused on using proprietary cannabinoid therapy to treat concussions and head trauma. Sol Global Investments Corp is listed on the CSE and trades under the ticker symbol SOL.
I'm joined now by Brady Cobb, CEO of Sol Global via Skype. Brady, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am rocking the free world. Thank you very much. Brady, let's start with an overview. What is the business model of Sol Global Investments?
So we're smart money in cannabis. We identify emerging markets, nascent markets, both in the U.S. and worldwide, and get in with the right partnerships early. We have a heavy focus on partnering within governments and learning the various different regulatory frameworks. I've been active in Washington, D.C. for the better part of 2.5 years now, working on reform. And one of the things we announced today is we're active participants in the passage of the Hemp Farming Act in the U.S., not for purely altruistic reasons. And today we announced our full hemp strategy, which we're very excited about, which is our first acquisition is a company called Blühen Botanicals, based out of Knoxville, Tennessee.
Wow, fantastic. And the hemp craze in the United States is really got some momentum, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, when the president of the Senate, and largely revered as one of the most conservative lawmakers in the U.S., personally sponsors the Hemp Farming Act, which took hemp and CBD products with less than 0.3% THC off Schedule 1. I mean, if you would have told me 3 or 4 years ago as a former lobbyist and attorney that was going to happen, I would have said you're getting high on your own supply. In fact, it happened. And it happened with largely an almost overwhelming positive vote across across party lines. So, we're seeing a lot of momentum in the U.S. There's a lot written about it. There's a lot of naysayers. I don't see a lot of these people that are sometimes talking about what's going on in D.C. when I'm going office to office. But we are making a lot of great strides, and we're incredibly bullish on the hemp and CBD space.
Yeah, sure. Wasn't CBD just descheduled from Schedule 1 to Schedule 5 or something as a result of the FDA's approval of Epidiolex?
Yes, it was. And the FDA is still ultimately looking at how it's going to treat consumer products. And they're going to, they're in the process of putting out guidance, which anything related to the federal government, we all know it's going to take some time. But again, that's why we maintain such a robust presence and team in Washington. We're a part of those discussions. And knowing that regulation was coming from the FDA, given these are things that people are ingesting into their bodies, we took a very aggressive role when we were out looking for the right hemp partners. And we found Blühen Botanicals. What really drew me to them is they had a focus on the science side and the long play of a medical market and serving as a medical use. And ultimately, the only way to get there is to actually cultivate in a vertically integrated manner, which we have, to process, extract, and ultimately manufacture in a way that is GMP, EU GMP, and in my preference one day, ISO certified. To me, you have those certifications. I think the FDA is going to look at that a little bit differently than folks that are doing it in a different way or at a substandard. But also from a long view, given that there's a massive opportunity in Europe, largely very little cultivation in Europe, but there's certainly an appetite for the products. If we're GMP certified and EU GMP certified at our facilities, we have the opportunity, once we clear the hurdles from a red tape standpoint, to be able to service that market in Europe right here from the US. So that's ultimately what drew us to Blühen, and we're really excited.
Wow, amazing. What kind of market size are we talking here in for 2019 for you guys?
I think the sky's the limit, no, pun intended. You look at the size of the U.S. market, look at what happened in Canada. You had how many producers scale up to be ready for full legalization in Canada, and there was empty shelves in week one. Look at the size of the United States, and the CBD is largely now, with the federal prohibition and the cloud lifted off of it, now folks are really starting to pay attention. So this market could be massive. Our biggest problem and the reason we focused on finding the right operators is scalability. When I'm looking at how I'm going to grow in this market and what partners I wanted to find and investments I wanted to make when we were deploying capital, it was those that could scale with us and scale up ultimately to meet the demand. And we believe we're confident that we found that.
Sure. Okay, so are you going to seize the opportunity inherent in the THC side of things when that becomes descheduled to a controlled status as opposed to a banned substance?
Yeah, and I think ultimately the States Act is probably the most, the next in line to pass. The States Act would take it off Schedule 1 in states where it's legal. It's a bill I had the privilege of being a part of drafting. And it's ultimately something that I think has a better chance of passing, given how the composition of the Senate being conservative. I still think we're a couple of years away from a full legalization in the United States. It's coming. You now have states, Ohio, Florida, Michigan, Pennsylvania. You can't carry the White House without winning those states. So everyone in DC has had to pay attention to it. I'm not a believer that all of a sudden today we're going to have Cory Booker's decriminalization bill passed, but I think we're going to see stepping stones to that point. And we are prepared to, we do have investments in the THC space, our primary one being Verano Holdings. That we press released that deal back in October where we took our Florida license and vended it over to them and also made an $88 million investment in cash to take approximately 20-something% interest in their company. They operate currently over 7 states, going to many more. They've, have a robust presence across the U.S. But again, what drew me to them is they're truly operators in the biggest sense. So we're excited about that investment, but we're also have other THC investments in various different portions of the marketplace in the U.S. to be able to seize upon it. And then we're active right now in Europe because we see Europe as kind of the next frontier, especially with the recent EU and WHO statements on cannabis.
Yeah, wow, really. So when you say the sky's the limit, you're not kidding. You recently bought back 5% of your issued and outstanding shares, and the audience is always curious as to why companies do that. So why did you buy back 5% of your outstanding stock?
We saw value. We knew what our balance sheet looked like. We knew what our NAV was, and we actually put a press release out on our NAV. And we were trading well below that, so we saw it as an opportunity to buy back our shares at a price that we believe was, we're undervalued in our opinion, given where our assets are and how we positioned ourselves in the marketplace. So it was nothing more than looking at it and going, there's an opportunity here.
Fantastic. So just for the audience that doesn't understand it, when the company buys back their shares, they're actually accruing more value per share to the company than there was previously. So it's the opposite of dilution. Brady, okay, we're going to leave it there for now. We're going to come back to you in the near future. That's a great introduction to the company. I look forward to following the story closely. Thanks for joining me today.
No, thank you. I'd welcome an opportunity to come see you in Toronto. Maybe we'll do it when it's not. Let's get a little closer to springtime. I'm a native Floridian, so spare me.
Sounds good. Or I'll come and visit you. How about that?
Come on down anytime.
All right. I'll be in touch. Thanks, Brady.
Thanks.
Ed's back.
He told me to go start walking. Said, come back up. Like right in the middle of your interview.
Well, you know what time? Well, yeah, but
you know what time it is?
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock. The markets are closing.
Howdy doody time.
It's howdy doody time. I can't even remember the right hand.
I can't.
I think it's now like this.
Yeah.
We need music for that. That's what we need.
I know.
Anyway, Sol Global Investments sounds like they're really going to do some damage in the market. He's a
Buying
very
back their
well-spoken. What's that? You're long the stock?
No, he's buying back the stock.
They bought back the stock. They completed a 5% buyback, non-NCIB, ahead of schedule. So that's always a good sign.
We were interviewing the guy from CXXI last week.
You don't say. Who's that?
I can't remember his name.
Made a hell of an impression.
But he's from the States.
Yes.
Vegas, maybe?
Yeah, C21 Investments.
That's it. And the stock was $1.05. When we got through at the interview, $1.26.
Well, that's because you're you must have been talking to Rob Cheney.
No, his name was Keith, I think. Maybe not.
You're getting conflicting versions from God and what you're saying. So,
okay.
Well, just a shout out. To,
Okay, now they got
shout
me.
out to the boys at Follow the Money Group. Follow the Money guys suggested that CXXI was a buy over, I'm going to say 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, maybe. I think right at the beginning of the year or even before Christmas. So everybody's trying to get in front of that, and it's like, first time I heard it was from the Follow the Money guys. Anyways, what else is going on in your universe, Ed? Let's take a quick look at the markets.
Yeah, you know what? I feel a little discombobulated here because there's all these computers. There's things going on. What?
I know. You take off for a week and then come back. The universe has changed.
The universe has changed. I got somebody blowing in my ear.
Well, that's a good thing.
Woo! Oh! Yahoo!
Yeehaw!
Yeah!
So now market's closed.
Okay, well let's take a look.
I'm just going to summarize the action in the market today. Canopy Growth Corp, the world's largest cannabis company in the world, at least in terms of impressiveness, I'm going to say, and has the largest bank balance of any cannabis company in the world. Shed 1.21%, closed down at 57.80 today. Yeah. Aurora Cannabis, on the other hand, tacked on 45 cents, up 4.92%.
You know why there was that little?
Do I know why they had that lift?
Yeah.
Because
I know why.
You do?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Jeffries in the U.S. has started initiating coverage of some Canadian pot stocks, and the one they really like is
Aurora.
Awoa.
Jeffries. Yeah, they've made a few good calls over the air.
Well,
they're no Citron Research. No, and Aurora also, Cam was here on Thursday and very, very articulately enunciated the company's position and performance. Trueleaf is the best performance among the large caps, though. Added $1.96 today, up 10%, closed at $19.92 Canadian. MJAR, do you notice how good M. Hardeen has done since they got that new CEO? They've tacked on $1. It's now at $4.96, added 0.61% today, or 3 cents today. Let's see, who else was sort of newsworthy? Kronos Group, did you see that sucker drop today? Lost $2.11, down 7.32%.
I'm detecting a little bit of a rollover in the space.
And you know what I think? I think that I think what we're seeing here is a lot of profit taking off of the run-up that has happened since the beginning of the year.
Also should point out to the viewers, not to you of course, because you probably already know it, that the S&P, and I noticed this 10 minutes ago, was up quite handily this morning, and basically was unched. Not close to unched on the day. Unched. That's sort of advanced jargon for unchanged.
0.12% up, or 3.44 points at 27.96.
Yeah, and spent most of the day over that nice number 2,800. Most of the day basking in the sun, and then only to be pushed down into the Netherlands.
Unceremoniously.
Into Hades.
Have you seen that movie, The Favorite?
You know
Rachel Weisz, Amy Adams.
You know who that's about, eh?
Yeah, Queen Anne.
No.
Yes?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Queen Anne.
I think that was about the front runner. I'm thinking of the front runner.
This is a movie that was one of the Oscar contenders.
But wasn't one of the Oscar contenders about the candidate who ran for the Democrats, and things are all going
Green
well?
Book.
No. You know what you should do is take up the hobby of going to movies, because then you might know something about what's going on.
I just watched 2 movies this weekend.
Yeah, which
Both
one?
of them are.
Yeah, but
I watched Bohemian Rhapsody,
Yeah.
for which Rami Malek just won the Oscar for Best Actor, and I watched The Favorite, for which Rachel Weisz was nominated as Best Supporting Actress.
Did she win?
She did not.
Well,
Unless I'm mistaken, I didn't watch the
no,
Oscars.
but isn't there a movie about the candidate Gary? Was it Gary, the guy that ran?
Manchurian Candidate?
No, he ran, and things were really going well, and all of a sudden it came out that maybe he was having a bit of a dalliance with some young lady. And
The Ides of March.
No.
About a presidential candidate who has it on with one of his aides?
No, that would be Bill, the front runner. Oh,
Yeah, the front runner. We already gone over that.
front runner.
Yeah.
Well, which one were you talking about?
No, you just, I was
The
talking
favorite.
about The Favorite.
Oh, Jesus. I think you were talking about The Favorite. Who was the favorite for the running for the best actress?
Nope. Though Rachel Weisz was in the running for The Favorite to win Best Actress in The Favorite, but I don't think she won.
Geez, there's some subplots.
Olivia Colman won for Best Actress, though.
For what movie?
The Favorite.
Was she a front runner?
She was the front runner, and she won.
In the movie The Favorite.
No, this was at the Oscars.
Who was the front runner in the movie
Who was
Vice?
on first? Who was
I've been away.
Christian Bale.
You know what? I saw pictures of him in the when they have the trailer.
His bat
I
suit?
didn't know who it was. I
No,
thought, who is
I didn't either.
I said this guy looks like Christian Bale.
I thought he looked like what's
Rob
his
Reiner.
name? No, he looked like
Meathead.
Geez, what's that actor's name?
Meathead.
No, he
He
didn't.
looked like Dick Cheney. Hey, you know what? I'll tell you one thing about Hollywood. Lots of times when these guys take on that role,
Yes.
they try to make it look like the real person.
Yes.
Why is that?
I don't know, to make it come across as legitimate. It's so the people who knew the guy don't tell all their friends, that guy didn't look anything like him.
Yeah.
He looked like this. Did you see how Rami Malek looked in the movie versus how Eddie Mercury actually looked?
Eddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury. Eddie Mercury, that could be you. Hey, let's hear you sing Bohemian Rhapsody.
We are the champions, you and I.
That's not bad.
Take it away. I can play guitar better. Like I can do the a cappella guitar.
Acapella guitar. Boy, we're really confused here today.
Have I been away too long?
No, I don't think so. I think
You should go away longer.
Well, every time I go away, I come back, I get sick.
Whiskey a go.
Yeah, so
Show me the way to the next
people want to know
whiskey bar.
about
Okay.
George Scorsese and Renee.
Scorsese.
That's now you're really mixed. Now that's beyond mixed metaphor. We're talking mixed topics. So yeah, Liberty Health Sciences, one of our
Wait a minute.
yo bro companies. We just saw the departure of George Scorsese and
What?
CFO Renee Lilly.
Ray Liotta.
No, Renee
Lodi. Liotta.
No, we're off the movies. We're talking
What did
about
I
the
do wrong?
industry now. No, they didn't do anything wrong. George felt it was a good idea to step down.
No, that wasn't that. That was something else. You're thinking of something else. I don't know anything about this shit.
What's in this freaking coffee?
Jesus. Oh, I
anyways.
apologize if it looked like something wasn't what everybody thought it was. Jesus.
The reason that they stepped down was because it's time for Americans to run American companies, even though they're listed in Canada. And I can't comment on that.
Is that right, eh? So
Yeah.
there's going to be some changes.
There was some changes.
Remember David Bowie? Changes.
Turn and face the changes.
Go to the prompter. Go to the prompter. Go to the kick drum.
Go to the prompter,
Go to the
doctor.
kick drum.
Prompter, damn near rector. Hey, coming up, the CEO of Sol Global Investments Corp. If you're enjoying the show, subscribe to Midas Letter on YouTube so you stay up to date on everything investment. Will Randall joins me now. He's the CEO of Arena Minerals, trading on the TSX venture under the symbol AN. Will, welcome back.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Will, this company, this project, Arena Minerals, is in the lithium space, but it has quite a different approach to what most lithium companies take. And why don't you start with an overview of what that difference in approach is?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can sort of lead into that with a little bit of the history. Argentina over the last, say, 10 years has been really good at establishing a world-class resource. The numbers have increased dramatically sort of in the first lithium boom and now in the second one. But it hasn't been all that great at transferring those resources into actual production facilities, producing mines, lithium carbonate, etc. And I believe a large part of that is because these brines are a little bit complicated to process correctly. And that's showing up in the feasibilities around in the space. So when we sold LithiumX, the previous company, to a Chinese group, I said, okay, well, where are we going to be able to add value in Argentina over the next sort of 5 to 10 years as we transform all these resources into active mines? So I assembled a team, and we came up with a process that is based on a conventional evaporation process, but that does two main things. Number one, it works, and it works well. But it lowers our OPEX quite dramatically, somewhere around 30 to 70%, and at the same time produces a very high quality brine concentrate that can feed a carbonate plant, producing battery grade materials consistently, which in turn sells for a much higher selling price. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what we based Arena on, and we got the technology, and we acquired a project that allows us to create this reagent that in turn allows us to reduce the OPEX.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you were part of the team that sold the LithiumX project onto the Chinese.
Correct.
So you've been here and you've done this before.
Yeah, I started in the lithium business 2008, 2009, wow. So early on. And at that time we acquired the project and developed it, that eventually got vended into LithiumX, mm-hmm. and was the flagship project that was sold to a Chinese group for, I think it was 265 million we sold it for.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so and then you mentioned that a lot of the projects that get to a feasibility stage don't go beyond it because the execution turns out to be different from what was arrived at in feasibility in some cases. The reality is, I think that the lithium brines have such unique characteristics from brine to brine that they all require a certain an excess of attention to chemical engineering.
Correct, yeah. So every brine is somewhat different, mm-hmm. and unlike in other mining sectors where there are a whole bunch of examples, there are only 4 right now active producing brine projects.
In the world?
In the world.
Really?
4. 2 are in Atacama, which dominate the world scene, as it were, and use one type of process. And then there are 2 in Argentina right now, Orocobre and FMC. FMC has its proprietary process, which is not based on conventional evaporation ponds. And Orocobre was using a liming process, which is similar to Atacama, but different in what reagents they use and what compounds they decide to attack early on to allow the brine to concentrate. So yes, and then all the brines in Argentina will have varying degrees of magnesium, sulfate, calcium, boron in it, and of course various lithium grades as well. So that adds one layer of complexity. The lack of expertise out there, because there are only 3 or 4 other producing mines, so there are not that many people that have done this before, mm-hmm. which is another one of the good selling points of Arena. We have on our board, and as one of our major shareholders, Eduardo Morales, who started working in the lithium industry, I think 40 years ago, 35 years ago, and was in charge of designing, building, and then operating the Atacama project, which is the world's largest producer. He ran Rockwood up until, I think it was 2014, that it got sold to ALB for somewhere around $6 billion. So right. It was a huge transaction. And at that point, shortly after his lockup period, he decided to join LithiumX, and now Arena with us. So we're very fortunate to have him leading the processing and the technological side of this company.
Yeah, okay. So tell us about the project itself, how you came to acquire it, and how closely it's going to emulate the development of a project like the one that was sold to ALB. Is that the ultimate goal?
Yeah, that is the ultimate goal. Why we're looking at Argentina coming in at much higher costs and these feasibilities at higher costs than Atacama, and with Eduardo we sat down and says that shouldn't be. I mean, these brines, yes, they're a little dirtier, yes, they're a little lower grade, but there's no reason for it to suffer such a punishment in the processing. And what we did is we said, okay, we used an Atacama-based approach, and they do this. They do, instead of buying lime as a reagent and treating it that way, they develop their own reagent from high calcium brines, and then treat it and advance it to around 6% lithium, 5 to 6% lithium, where it concentrates into a very pure feed for their carbonate plant. So that was basic premise. We said we can do this in Argentina. First thing we did is we found the asset in Argentina that has a huge excess of calcium, what we think is the best one, but also decent lithium grades. And that's the Antofagasta project.
Okay. So the Antofagasta project is in Catamarca province, and looking at the map here, it's pretty much the furthest south of all of the lithium projects in the lithium triangle.
There are a couple further south that unfortunately we didn't put on that map. So there's Neolithium is further south, but yes, we are a little bit further south than most. We share that asset with ALB. They control most.
Albemarle is part owner of one of these assets?
Of the Antofagasta Salar.
Oh, so does that make them the logical takeout candidate, or the logical takeout candidate for ALB, just to keep their the supply down?
Well, we'll see how it goes forward, but I mean, yeah, obviously we're open to everything. That they are in the same neighborhood, and they clearly they actually in the last conference call they did mention the asset as potentially being the largest resource in Argentina, so it's clearly a focus for them, and we're going to be very active there, not only developing the brine for this reagent, a lithium-rich, calcium-rich reagent, to partnership up with other companies that you can see on that map as well, but also developing the project as a standalone project.
Very interesting. Okay, so now let's look at the brine concentrations in evaporation ponds slide that we've got here.
Yeah.
And tell me how this sort of supports your approach.
Yeah, this here basically shows what we've been able to do, and this is not theoretical. This is actually proven on the ground. So we've done this in smaller evaporation ponds. Obviously, we don't have a full facility. We call it a pilot plant. And the blue line that you can see there is lithium concentrating over time. So as it goes up, we get higher and higher concentrations of lithium in brine as it travels through the pond system. And the orange line is all the other stuff that you don't want. As you can see, there's a big dip originally there in the deleterious elements, as we call them, and that's when we treat it. And then we have a couple of more treatments along the way. But the important thing is, as we get to 6% lithium, you can see that all the unwanted elements, magnesium, sulfate, etc., start dropping out at a very serious rate. And you end up with 6% lithium and 2% other salts. So that's less elements that are eventually going to report to your lithium carbonate in the plant, and therefore producing a much higher quality lithium carbonate consistently over time. Not just in plant startup where the plant is clean, but all the way through the year. And the other line that we have there, that 1% lithium line, it shows the amount of unwanted salts there. And that's typically how most feasibilities in Argentina are being run right now. They're concentrating to about 0.6 to 1.2%. I put it at 1% just to sort of give it a rough average there. So it means that in these feasibilities and in some of the producing assets right now, we're sending a dirty brine to the plant, which as the plants start out is okay, you can handle it, but as these materials stay in the system, it starts producing lower grade carbonate, which in turn then starts becoming industrial carbonate and sells for a substantially lower price.
Okay, then what is the timeline for all of this development? Like, is this going to take 10 years? Is it going to take 5 years? Is it going to take 2 years?
Well, so our company's just starting out, and I think we're well positioned because a lot of these, as I said, a lot of these resources are now getting to feasibility and looking at about different options. looking at how they're going to finance it, etc. So we are in a good position to, as I said, develop our asset, but at the same time combine with a more advanced project to offer our expertise and this calcium-rich brine feed to develop our process in conjunction with them. So I would say that those are the next steps for Arena over the short time frame, say over the next 6 months. A strategic partnership with a larger company in Argentina, obviously with assets in Argentina, and you'll also see us start work on our project in the sense that we'll get environmental permits for geophysics, sampling, drilling, and actually building a larger scale pilot plant.
Well, how does this approach affect the economics of the company and differentiate it from the normal approach to other solars?
Yeah, so for a project that would be potentially partnering up with us at sort of typical brine, Argentine brine, the numbers are actually very significant. If we implement our process, you'll have somewhere around $1,500 of savings on the OPEX side, which on a 20,000 ton operation is $30 million worth of savings in operational costs a year. And if you couple that with the assurance of a battery grade carbonate at the end, you're also getting a nice big bump in sale price, which overall can mean up to somewhere around 100 million of savings or delta a year, which is very, very significant over a life of mine.
Okay, so that, I guess, with lower capex required for the plant, you actually end up with a lower cost per unit of input of output.
Yeah, that's correct as well, because what's happening a lot is, and you'll see it in the feasibility studies, there is another section added onto the end. So as the carbonate starts coming down in grade, we're putting it through a purification circuit. And that purification circuit in our process would not have to be built. We come out just of the carbonate plant with battery grade material. So you save that money. And then, as it says there, product flexibility, the brine, the concentrated brine, is a saleable product in itself, and it's actively traded in the market. It was developed in Chile by SQM and Rockwood and sold across to China, much like the spodumene guys do now right now.
All right, well, that's a great intro to the company. We'll leave it there for now and come back to you soon. Thanks for joining me today. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing to our YouTube channel and clicking on the little notifications bell. If you're interested in getting monthly actionable investment ideas in the cannabis space to your inbox, subscribe to the newsletter at MidasLetter.com. Unbelievable. Arena Minerals.
It's not.
First, we misnamed the guy.
It's not Arena Marina. It's not Arena Marina, but it could be Arena Marina.
You know, the most important thing to know about Arena Minerals is these guys have already sold one big company up the food chain in the billions of dollars.
You know what I like about this? I like the fact that it's on the bottom.
Do you know?
Nobody's in lower.
Nobody's in lower. It's a nickel. It's a nickel a share.
I think we should open it up to our viewers.
I think first we should position ourselves and then try to sell it to the viewers.
When do you think?
Oh no, that's what some dickheads would do.
When do you see that happening?
We wouldn't do that.
When do you see that happening?
No, we're going to get options in the deal, Ed, in exchange for a regular discussion of the company. We're going to have an option to buy the stock at today's price without an obligation to buy it until some point in the future where its value has increased. That's an option.
Okay, Will.
I'm just saying. How was your vacation? You were gone for a week. You don't have much color.
Well, actually, I got more than you have.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Not on your back, though.
Well, that's all peeled off.
I'm back. My back is burnt. No, hey, listen, you know what? I had a good chat with some people about Chiron, about what was going on. We had a nice lunch on Monday.
Chiron?
Yeah.
Chiron is the Canopy Growth Corp of Latin America.
Listen. I said I had this luncheon on Monday with some people that were major shareholders of Chiron.
Yes.
And they said blah blah blah, and I said I said should step in Tuesday morning. And if you'll remember what happened Tuesday morning.
Who did you say that to?
To myself.
And did you?
I said it to myself.
Did you step in?
I forgot. I actually, by the time I wanted to step in, it already had La Mouve. La Mouve. Not going
2 weeks ago, this thing was trading at $2.80 a share.
$1.60, I think.
Two weeks ago, it was $2.80. 3 weeks ago, it was $1.60. Let's pull up that chart. Here's a chart. And the chart says...
The chart says... Now, you're putting up charts too, I see, eh?
Well, I'm just putting up a chart so I can see what you're looking at. KHRN, no active session. Bullshit! This is bullshit.
KHRN. Okay, here we go. So, let's go back to... I've got a 6-month up here. 1, 2... Okay, what day was this? December the 17th. 2 months ago, you could have bought the stock for $1.23.
No kidding.
Yeah. Now, we should comment here that the trend's still intact, but the candle today, not a good candle, although it rallied off the low.
Well, you know, when it's put on that kind of freight.
Yeah. But look at the range today.
Yeah.
405 and almost 360.
Wow. Wow! On the 24th of February, this stock was trading at $1.60.
24th of February?
Yeah, the stock has doubled.
Of February the 6th, it was trading at... No, what are you talking about?
I've got my... January 24th.
Oh, one small problem with your analysis. It's wrong.
That was not an analysis.
Geez, you know what? Maybe you just check the date instead of guessing.
Well, I was looking at another date.
Let me just...
Jesus. Anyways, let's look at the weather now. How about that?
Why don't you fire up this baby? See what happens. Look at this. This is called
okay.
A home roller.
Yeah.
Okay, home roller. Okay, let's look at the S&P. I think the S&P. What do you think?
You know what's a company I want to look at because there's a VCAN.
A pecan?
Ventura Cannabis. VCAN. VCAN.
Should I put it up?
Should
I put it up?
Yeah.
Is it CNSX or?
CNSX, yeah.
CNX. Oh. That's moved up from 4 cents. Hey, you know what? I got to change the subject here in a minute because I got a tip from one of your buddies.
Okay, change the subject now.
Shall we look? Okay, this might have been the bottom here today on this VCAN.
Well, they're about to roll this sucker back 7.34 to 1.
Any particular reason? What's the 0.3? I guess 7 1/3. I get it. 7.34. They rounded it 7.3. Okay. Yeah, say no more.
Anyways, so that means, you know, here's the funny thing. So I bought 2 million shares of this at 6 cents-ish. And when they roll it back, I'm going to end up with 270 some odd thousand shares.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, I'm going to have 270, if the price stays the same, I'm going to have 270,000 shares at about 70 cents. And it's like, for some reason, that's not nearly as attractive as 2 million shares at a dime.
Yeah. So you'd rather have 2 million shares of something worth nothing than 240,000 shares of something that has value.
You know why? Because there's no chance of something that has no value of going any lower.
That's true. But that's why people don't like these rollbacks. That's exactly the reason. And yet, new people love them because they think this will make it even go lower and I'll be able to snap it up even lower.
And it's completely a psychological mindfuck to think that way.
I know.
Like it's so juvenile and so infantile that I'm kind of embarrassed, but I'm kind of glad to see that I'm actually that human.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's a relief.
To your point, you go to this.
Wait. Oh
no,
sorry.
we're not really ready.
Coming up tomorrow, we got a hell of a big shoe here. No idea what it is, but
you go to the more smorgasbord.
Whoa. How do you say that guy's name? Ken Detremeno. Ken Detremeno is going to be here as the CEO of Medexus.
I think I hit it. I got it right. I got it right.
You'll be here from Paris, France. Jim Pakoulis is going to be here. He's the CEO of Cannabis Holdings Inc. Those guys are doing a raise right now. Greg Guyat is here, the new CFO of CannTrust.
Now, he took the place of your frequent guest on our show.
No, he did not. My frequent guest was Brad Rogers, who was the president and chief operating officer.
Okay.
This guy's the new CFO, who we haven't had in before. However, that's neither here nor there. Anyways, I'm really, really, really sorry to say that this is the end of our show practically. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like us. Don't forget to click on the little notification bell so that we annoy you. Every single time we come online, a little window pops up in the corner of your window and you're there with us. Goodbye.